Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a overcast Saturday here at my house, but wanted to expand a little bit on yesterday's live and what I shared on showing up, how you show up, and today I want to talk about how you show up as your best, and just to share a little bit about my own personal journey in how I got started on this growth train, we'll call it, is that back in 2009 I had a personal failure, a horrible personal failure, and as God does, He uses those things for good, and He tends to use those things to slap you right across the face and get your attention, and it got my attention, and since that time, 10 years ago now, I have been very intentional, very deliberate about staying in growth mode, personal growth. And I don't always get it right. I don't always do it well, but I'm committed to growth. And it's something that I'm very passionate about, something that I want to continue to pursue. In fact, I look at the last 10 years and how much I've grown. And at the age of soon to be 43, I'm thinking, wow, what kind of growth can I achieve by the time I turn 63? Like 20 years from now, life is going to be awesome. You know what I mean? And that's how I view growth, is like personal growth is a journey. And I've seen 10 years of personal growth and amazing things happen. And I can't wait for the next 20 years as I engage in this personal growth journey. But I wanted to kind of share with you what I do as a way of staying intentional, a way of staying aware of what helps me grow, what helps keep me in that mindset, what keeps me going. And that is several years ago, I was encouraged to work through and identify 10 positive actions that help me grow. Now, these aren't actions that are going to be directly related to growth, but if I do these things, then I stay in growth mode, okay? So I wanted to share those as a way of helping you identify what helps you show up as your best and what helps you stay intentional and moving along your journey towards your ultimate best self, your true self. And so the 10 positive actions that I have, and they've changed over time too. Number one is a book focus and Cliff Notes preparation. Here's why I do that. I have to stay focused on one book because I read like 3 or 4 books at one time, but I stay focused on one and I prepare Cliff Notes of each chapter. And the reason I do that is because it helps me anchor in the content of that book. And I use it as kind of like, okay, if I was to teach this chapter to somebody, how would I do that? And that brings me more clarity, more everything, as long as I'm doing that. So number 2 is a Bible study. So I read the Bible. I read the Message Bible as part of just engaging in the story. And I read the Scofield Study Bible as a way of kind of helping me connect the dots between, hey, this verse mentions this and it goes to this verse, so it kind of helps me. But that's kind of how I do it. Journaling. Don't do it all the time, but when I do it, I stay growing. Staying connected, that's huge for me. I have like 3 or 4 guys that I talk to every single week, and just staying involved and connected in those things. I go to these men's coaching weekends, as I've said many times before, 6 times a year. Just staying connected, it helps me grow. Exercise, this is big for me, like strength training 3 times a week. I got out of fitness for a long time, mentioned that earlier this week, and didn't do anything, and I just got back into it about 3 years ago. And actually, strength training 3 times a week helps me grow internally, helps me grow emotionally, mentally, obviously physically, as well as spiritually. So exercise, I've got 15-minute brisk walk every day, and strength training 3 times a week as 2 of my positive actions. And then prayer and solitude. And I view prayer a little bit differently. I don't pray in a way that I'm talking to or at. I quiet myself and I try to receive and listen. It's hard to do, but it's something that I've been putting into practice the last couple of years, and it's been game changer for me. And I kind of view meditation, contemplation, and prayer as all the same thing. You know, it's the same exact practice. And then, of course, my last two, and these are the ones that I stay hyper focused on, and that's loving my daughters and loving my wife intentionally. Because let's face it, it's not easy to do all the time, right? There's times when I just don't feel like loving. I don't feel like doing the thing that is a loving action towards my wife and daughter, but I have to stay intentional to do that. And that looks different for everybody. So like for me, like I know my wife needs to feel supported, and so I try to support her as much as possible by making her lunches and making sure that the dinner is ready every night, and keeping the house orderly, and making it to where she doesn't have to do laundry, and taking care of the kids and all those things. And we help each other. Like, you know, she bathes the girls and she loads the dishwasher. She helps, but I try to support her as much as possible, and that's the way that I try to show loving action towards my wife. So those are my positive actions for growth, and I think that I just wanted to share those as a way of kind of helping you, maybe encourage you to sit down and find or think through, identify what your 10 positive actions are for your personal growth. And by doing so, you can, stay intentional, stay aware of your behaviors, aware of your actions, so that they lead to you showing up as your best. Because if you remember yesterday, how you show up matters. So that's what I wanted to share today. Hope it helps you out. 10 positive actions for your personal growth. Give it a shot. And, if you come up with 10, even if it's not 10, you come up with 5, share them on this post under the video. All right. Thanks, y'all.